Hey. All right. Cool, guys. Hey, what's up? This is Eddie Gray here with HF Music Academy. Super proud to present to you In the Mix with Eddie Gray. This is a forum. This is a soapbox that we've created in order to basically speak the language of music. If you're new to music or if you're seasoned, you've been doing this for 10, 20, 30 years, there's always something to learn, right? And so I've decided to give of my free time. You know, you get to pick what you want to do. You don't get to pick your family, but you get to pick the people in your life. And in the same way, I'm choosing what it is I want to do and how I want to contribute back to what I like to call the modern creative. So welcome to the channel. Super excited about you guys being here. We've been on this tear the last couple of months, just giving and giving and giving content away. Our latest course, Learning Live Loops, is performing very well. If you want to learn Logic, if you want to learn live loops, it's the perfect course for you. Our course, How to Maximize Your Desktop and Laptop CPU Performance, also is performing very well. It's got over 3,600 downloads. If you want that course for free, all you got to do is email support@hfmusicacademy.com. All right, let's get right into it. Again, my way to give, my way to contribute to all the newcomers, all the young blood, the new blood, and also people that have been doing this. I just want another look, a fresh take on music production and just music as a whole, is to analyze music. This channel, we do all sorts of different things, but right now we've been analyzing music specifically for music licensing. The reason I'm not doing popular songs is because, of course, of all the rights involved and copyright. I don't want to get into that mess. So what we're going to do is we're going to analyze songs that have been picked up by music licensing. So maybe like a publisher picked it up, it was placed on a television show. See, this doesn't have as many red flags, and so it's something that I could go ahead and show you and teach you, and and it could benefit us both. That being said, members of HF Music Academy get these templates for free. So if you're somebody that's always wanted to learn how to compose, there are certainly templates in the industry as far as making pop music or tropical house or what have you, but there isn't really anything for music licensing. And so that's what I'm providing free to all of our members. And congratulations to all of our recent members. Much love, much respect. All right, so I want to talk about tension today, specifically music that's kind of, in the sad space, in the sad realm. So there's all kinds of different tension music in the world of TV, in the world of licensing. But we've been working over at hfmusicacademy.com on a show called Snapped. And in that show, they have this really tense, intense tension music. And so I wanted to take a look at that today. But before we do, I want to look at the track that we analyzed last week. So the episode 2 on Wednesday, for whatever reason, the audio was really acting up, and so I decided to go ahead and just show you the song from scratch. Here's the original. Okay, so we're listening to the song from last week. Here it is in its entirety. Let's go. All right, yeah, so as you can see, that worked out really well. And it was just a matter of kind of sitting with the song, understanding all the various components. For example, you got the intro in the beginning, right? We analyzed everything on video 1 last Monday, and just trying to listen for all the instrumentation. Where are they panned? Are they high on the frequency range? Are they low on the frequency range? And just trying to get a better sense of their timbre. For example, was it a marimba? Was it soft and round like a marimba, or was it more synthetic, like a synthesizer sine wave or something like that? So we're trying to educate ourselves by listening. It's not just going to happen because you're reading. Let me tell you right now, if you're making that mistake, do me a big favor and start to execute, start to be in action. And what's going to happen is all the stuff that you've been reading will become real. It'll become concrete, and then hence you'll be able to integrate it in your actual workflow, not just in theory, but in action, right? All right, and so, yeah, pretty excited about this one. Really loving the way it turned out. I'm mostly excited because people are seeing that it doesn't have to be that complicated to compose. I mean, when you listen to a song for the very first time, you're kind of overwhelmed by all of the various, components like frequency, size, density, space. There's all sorts of stuff that comes at you, and especially if you're auditory and you're really sensitive to patterns and stuff like that, it can be a bit overwhelming. But these templates will allow you to look at music, will allow you to analyze it piece by piece, and then hopefully demystify it so you can start writing your own stuff. So that being said, I want to show you let me get out of this screen here. One sec. I want to go into kind of the stock version. I also used Logic stock plugins. All right, so let's check this out. All right, cool. So you get the point. All right, so what we're doing today, as stated, is we're going to analyze tension music. If this has ever befuddled you, this is definitely the right place for you. So one of our members over at hfmusicacademy.com, he asked if I could do a session on tension music. He's never done it before, right? Has a different background in terms of how he learned music, and I thought perfect opportunity. And you guys know that I love getting in the work, getting my reps in every single Monday, and Wednesday. So that being said, let's start to analyze this track and look at it piece by piece by piece. You guys ready? All right, here we go. So we're looking at Logic Pro, the latest and the greatest 10.5 phenomenal update. If you guys are looking to learn it, please check out my course on the Graphy app. It's on the App Store. It's Learning Live Loops with Eddie Gray. All right, so that being said, we're listening to a new track. This is by a composer, great guy. I've worked with him a lot. His name is Devin Norris. And we're going to analyze this song. It's inside of a library, and we're just going to pick apart all the various components. So I've done some of the legwork here. You guys know how I like to start. BPM. You can assign the key if you want to. Don't really think it matters right now, but we're going to go ahead and set markers. I think that is important. You can do that by way of a key command, or you can do that by hitting the plus symbol here in Logic. It doesn't matter which DAW you have. If you use Ableton or FL, we can go ahead and work together. All right, we can go ahead and collaborate. So this isn't unique to Logic. What we're aiming for, what we're gunning for, is a education in music, because you don't know if you're going to be editing vocals. Heck, you might be Justin Bieber's vocal producer for all you know, tuning vocals like 7 days a week, 24/7. So that being said, you got to be prepared for whatever comes your way. This week, big television station reached out to me and they said, "Hey Eddie, can you do the music for our logo?" And I said, as a matter of fact, I can. And so I went ahead and put together some sessions. I'll go ahead and show you that at a later date. But yeah, there's plenty of opportunities out there. Lots of different options that you never even thought were possible. What if I told you you could get paid for having your music on a commercial or a film trailer, or you know, I don't know, playing somewhere in like Vietnam or something? These are all very viable options, and there are people like me getting paid everywhere, all around the world, consistently, if you're willing to put in the work, right? All right, so we're going to analyze this song now. I'm going to set markers. Bear in mind that my snap to grid setting is set to bar. I've got my key command set up to F16, F17, 18, and 19, so I can quickly access those. So I'm just going to go ahead and play the song, start setting the markers. You can see I've already made some cuts, and you know, I might change the color of some of these regions to help you understand what's going on here. But yeah, key command for setting a marker in Logic is Option ', boom, we set that up. I know right away that the song is going to change here. It's also going to change here, and it's also going to change here. Now, if you're wondering how I'm getting my markers to change color, that's a setting inside of your, I believe it's your project settings. Could be wrong about that. It's probably more your preferences. But anyway, let's take a listen and talk about instrumentation. We're going to talk about timing, how we can approach, you know, analyzing the song. Are we going to need a third-party software like we did last time? On one of the previous sessions, I used a software called Capo, and I was able to look at the file and analyze where the bass notes were, right? And so if you want to get better, you're going to have to put in the time, okay? I didn't get here by mistake. There's a reason why you get to where you get to. And if you're not where you want to be, you got to change yourself first, put in the work, and then you'll start seeing those results, okay? All right, so let's analyze. Here we go. All right, and then there's a riser right here at the very end, so we might need to look for something like that. In fact, I may write a little note to myself. Riser. I don't want to start that way, so let's go ahead and go from the top. So this is a pretty basic song, right? Beautifully done, simple, and for those of you that can play piano, this may be the kind of thing where you actually just play it in. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pick this apart with the melody first, or the right hand, and then we'll play the rhythm after that. Then we'll play the bass guitar, and then we'll bring in the quintessential sound for composers everywhere. Everyone knows it. I just released a great video on Damage 2, so if you want to learn that software, you can check that out. Resources for the Modern Creative. And we add some pads. I'm probably going to have to add an additional pad because I did hear there was another layer on top. And finally, some kind of a counter melody at the very end. It's very simple, and so we'll find a sound for that. So again, just a couple of pieces here. If the piano can be considered one, we've got the piano, the bass, the percussion. There's probably a couple elements in there, but we'll leave that as one subject. Got the pads. Again, we're going to double those. And then finally, the synth. It's not a lot of parts for a song, so if you ever get confused or maybe you're doing too much, again, this is a really good technique, so you can really start to learn what it is you need to do and how to approach music as a whole, and how to approach your music as a whole, right? Because this is study time. This is like, we're in a football game. We're looking at video. We're playing basketball. We're studying the other team. We're looking at the players. We're looking at their inclinations. When he goes into the paint, does he drive to his left? Does he drive to his right? Does he shoot from the elbow? Like, what's the game plan, right? And so we also need game plan. We also need a game plan for this field. It's something that not a lot of people talk about, but in fact, it's true. How are you going to be the best of the best? How are you going to prove yourself time and time again, year after year? How are you going to find the energy and the willpower to win? How's it going to happen? Because you have a game plan. All right, so let's go ahead and start picking this apart. I'm going to start with the melody because it's so simple. And if we go to bar, let's go 3. Use the arrow pad, go up to track 2. Let's get the sustain pedal. Hey, what's going on? Good. Yep. Appreciate you guys. Much love. So we're listening for the melody, and all right. So I got some latency. So I'm gonna hit that low latency mode. Hopefully that takes care of it. All right. So let me listen for that first note. Alright, so we're just playing A, E, back and forth, back and forth. And then at the very end of the phrase, you can hear that, it kind of goes from this, right? So you go down one semitone, you go from A to A flat or G sharp, and you get that beautiful sound. It's going to be hard to play this with the amount of latency I have, but let's give it a go. In fact, actually, this is a really good time to utilize something. So today, in one of our sessions for HF Music Academy, I was talking about input quantize and how even if you play something wrong, Logic will go ahead and fix the timing for you after the fact. So I hit record right now. I'm going to hit record, and let me see, is this quarter notes? 1 and 2, and so it depends on the tempo. Where do I have the tempo? Alright, I think I got it where it needs to be. So let's play this. So I'm going to hit record. Okay, here we go. Alright, right, good. So let's go in here again. I haven't hit quantize yet. You can see everything is lined up to the grid pretty nicely. Just because it's lined up to the grid doesn't mean it's actually going to work, so you actually have to listen to it. And let's go. Okay, so then now I don't need the reference on top, all right, because I have what I need here. So let's take a listen. Really simple. All right, you could do this. And then at the very end, as stated, the melody changes. Okay, so of course the magic happens with repetition, right? I think somebody said once, repetition is the mother of genius. This is how we get our ideas across, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and copy this over. I'm utilizing my secondary tool called the marquee tool, and I have a perfect selection because my selection was made with snap to grid, right? This is why I like to introduce this workflow to all of my work and consultations or students that I have, and I want to make sure that they're on point with their workflow and their systems so that it's unbreakable. So I'm going to hit Command D, right? And so that's looking good. Everything's clean. I'm going to go ahead and select all these and now hit J. It's going to join them all together so it's one region rather than a bunch of scattered separate regions. And so that's looking good. I'm going to go ahead and do the same here. This song is it follows the build and layer format. I've talked about this on the channel before. This is the most popular format in the world of TV and music licensing. I'm not saying that you should write every song like this, okay? Let's pull it back a little bit. But what I am saying is that if you want to succeed and you want to have a better chance of doing this, you may want to use the right format for the right song, if that makes sense. All right, so got the melody down. Let's go ahead again. Corroborate. Let's make sure. Let's get into it. Here we go. Okay, let's see what the so that's the right hand, right? So picture a piano player, right, playing something on his right hand. On the other hand, he's got the bass notes. So let's check that out, okay? Let's listen. Yep. All right, sounds pretty basic. Let's follow protocol. Let's see. Okay. All right, here we go. Alright, just use capture recording, so you don't have to record all the time. You can sometimes just hit play, you can jam out, hit shift record, or hit this icon right up here, and that should do it. Alright, let's check out this MIDI, shall we? Everything's good. Looks like I was input quantizing, if that's a verb, and let's check it out. Alright, so unless you hear something different, I think the bass just kind of keeps doing the same thing the whole time, or the bass from the piano, should I say. Yeah, it sounds pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to go under the assumption that it's locked and loaded. Let's go to the bass. Okay, so what's the bass doing? Let's see. Well, there's no bass here. Our notes tell us so. Let's go to bar 11. I'm going to hit / and let's hear this. Alright, so we're just getting a bass. Now here's the thing. I popped a bass open in Logic. This one's called finger style bass. Alright, so if I go ahead and I start playing this out, and by the way, this progression will be the same as the piano. You'll find that in music a lot, where instruments just kind of, they're just following each other. They're playing in unison, right? You don't always have to write something new. As long as it complements the song, that's kind of the main part. So let's go back to this progression. Might want to go a little bit lower. Yeah, cool. Just for the sake of tracking, I'm going to lift up the volume. Alright, notice, so when I play this, it's very staccato, right? I'm just going to hit the, strike the note, or the key rather, and then all of a sudden, it's gone. So in order to get the, what's the word, the realism, just like this bass, we're going to have to play it sustained out a little bit, or it's going to have to decay a little bit longer. In other words, it's going to have to last a little bit longer. Okay, so I can try and manufacture that with like plugins and stuff like that, but I'm going to try and see if I use a sustained pedal. So I've got a sustained pedal underneath my setup here, and so here's me just playing staccato, right? And if I hold the sustained pedal down, now I have. So in order to get that sound, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the sustained note like this. And then when it's time to play the next note, I'll let go of the sustained pedal, right? And then as soon as I hit it again, I'll place my foot on the sustained pedal again. I wish I could do this kind of live in front of you, but you understand what I'm saying. So it's and then off, and then off, and then as soon as I hit it, I'll press it again. Alright, I think you know what I'm saying. Alright, so let's get right back into it. We're going to record bass. Bass comes in at bar 11. You ready? Here we go. Alright. Hold on. Alright, cool. Started getting the hang of it at the end there. So I'm going to go ahead and create track alternatives. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to configure track header and then enable the option track alternatives. What does this do? Well, if you want to try out other ideas, save the original for whatever reason, you can go ahead, click here, and then go to duplicate. The key command would be Control Option Command D. Why don't we hit that? Alright, there's option B. Now I can go from A to B. Alright, so I'm just going to, again, assume we're working fast. I'm just trying to show you the flow of it. This is why once you start getting used to your DAW, The very next thing is to learn how to mix and master so you can execute, write a bunch of music. Just this morning, I had to turn in some music, and then I had a session this afternoon. So you got to be on top of things, right? Right after this, I have a couple of things I have to finish, and so you got to be able to execute. I mean, just yesterday I was here from, not kidding, 8:30 in the morning, and I had sessions all day, and then I had to stay here at night. Left my studio here at midnight, woke up at 6 in the morning, went for a jog, and just getting after it, right? Because that's what it's going to take. You're going to have to pay a cost. You understand me? If you want it like you say you want it, you said you were going to do it, you say it means everything to you, but, you know, maybe you're not necessarily giving it all you got, right? And so I'm really glad that we're spending the time together so that we can really learn music together and so that we can really get after it. All right, so here is bar 11. We're listening to the sustain. Does it work? Does it sound realistic? How does it sound, right? Let's go. Ah. Okay, so there's a couple parts here that are a little funny. So I'm going to open up the piano roll by double clicking or hitting P. By the way, you can automate all these velocities. I'm going to hit Command A. Let's get them to all be the same just for now. I'm going to hold Option, and rather than having different velocities, different places, you can have them all be set to 1. All right, let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so that sounds good with me. The only other thing I want to do is, hold on, let me set this. Yeah, cool. Is let's see. Let's go here. Oh yeah, play with the sustain. So the sustain isn't really working, and maybe it's not close enough or something. Here, let's listen. Just to the bass. Alright, so there was one part there that kind of shifted a little bit, but I think it's okay. So we're going to go ahead, copy this over. And again, this is also where I like to use these aliases. I've talked about these before on the channel. What am I doing? Why aren't there MIDI notes on these specific regions? Again, these are just a reflection, or they mirror the region that's on bar 10. So any changes I make on bar 10 are going to be reflected in the rest of those regions. So that's good. Everything's looking good. Let's see if we're nailing the sound. Does it need to be bigger? Does it need to be wider? Where are we at? Let's go. I mean, in all fairness, it's actually very quiet in the other track. I don't want to bring mine down too much. Let me listen to this. All right, I'm seeing if they that they got some pedals here, and I just got kind of curious for a second. Like, what if I added a compressor, and I added a lot of sustain? Like, would it help carry out the note a little bit more? Let me check this out for 1 sec. Yeah. All right, we're going to try this out. It does make it a little bit quieter too. If you don't know what a compressor does, I've got a bunch of great content out there. You can check it out. I've helped a lot of people understand it. I'm super proud to be able to help out just a bunch of the my peers and friends, and a lot of people are blowing up. We just closed a deal. We're working with Viacom right now on the new NFL season. Lots of good things happening. Lots of good things happening. So let's listen to what we have right now. Okay. Okay, so we got that. Let's keep putting the parts together because you can see that it's sounding like somewhat similar, but it's still not entirely there. Let's see, what percussion do we have here? One sec. All right, so I'm not going to spend all the time looking for that specific sound. I will tell you more or less where to get it from, and what to look out for. So I'm specifically listening to the right channel, so the right headphone or the right speaker. There's like a I don't know, the sound of metal or something like that. Here, check it out. All right, so I'm not going to take the time again to kind of create it verbatim, if you will. I'm going to create it, but just not exactly the same. So I'm going to go down to damage. Now, for those of you that don't know, this right here is a cornerstone in our business. Like, if you're anybody that is seriously thinking about composing and you're somebody that really wants to work in the field, specifically in the world of tension or cinema or that kind of, this is a must. Absolute must, okay? All right, so let me bring you guys in here. And we're looking for a specific sound. Again, I'm not copying the pattern per se, but I'm looking for something. So I'm inside of Damage 2, and this is Damage 2 has essentially 3 modes. We're inside of the Loop Designer, and we're going to go ahead and fish for some sounds. Here we go. So something like that, right? Okay, I might use that. So one of the things that I love about Damage is you can set the start point of the loop. So let's say you're like, actually, I don't want it to have any dead space. I want it to work right away. Here, let me zoom in so you see what I'm saying. Yeah. See, so now I've been able to crop and customize this loop. Let me show you one more. Yeah, you see, I already did it here. Like this one started here before, but again I was able to zoom here. Check this out. Oh yeah, see, no more waiting or no more dead space. We just lock right in. Boom. Okay, so again, I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. Let me just play this and see what. Yeah, maybe just that one. So I'm going to hit R. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to hit V to hide the plugin. Let's go ahead, close that up. Let's see. Is this long enough? So one of the things I like to do right away, so I don't waste time, is, remember when we were talking about snap to grid? Well, inside of the piano roll, we also have another snap to grid. So I set that automatically. And then here, I can instantly access the MIDI event, and I can see, oh, that's actually the perfect number. Here's what you don't want. This kind of thing. Here, see how it's off? Not a good idea, trust me. So if you've got your snap mode set correctly, you don't really even have to think about it. So yeah, it's pretty fantastic. Go ahead and learn that, and you will thank me later, believe me. All right. So we're here. Let's listen to the sound. Again, not trying to replicate, just trying to give the idea of how would you do this. If you really wanted to break it down and you're really hungry for that level of detail, then I highly suggest you do this for yourself, because it will change you. This is what I used to do when I was a kid. I would listen to music. You know, I didn't go to Juilliard. I didn't have some like high academic musical education, but I could hear it, and I really wanted to learn it. And it was all about just the drive to learn and understand more. So that being said, if it does call you and you're in a place where it's time for change, then you got to change. All right, you got to change. You have to be the one that does the work, right? Don't count on anybody else. You be the one. All right. So now we're here. Let's listen to this part here. And again, that could have very well been another part. Could have been this. Let me see. I'm gonna keep playing. That actually might sound cool. I might use that, but let's try and find something a little bit more similar. All right, let's see what this sounds like. Yep, that's it. Okay, so that took care of the percussion in this first section. We still need a pad. Got the bass going now. Let's look for a nice pad. Alright, so when I listened to this pad, the first pad I thought about was a company called Umlaut, capital U-M-L-A-U-T. And so after I heard this pad, listen. Again, I've been doing this for about 7 years, and as soon as I heard that, I was like, yep, I know that AU or that VST. That's this plugin. And if it's not, it's pretty close as far as the sound. Here, look, I'm going to show it to you. Correct me if I'm wrong, all right? Let me know what you guys think. So here's pads, and let's find the... hold on, let's go higher. Right, it has a very similar texture. Here, really listen. If you're visual, close your eyes. Hold on. Here we go. So again, if you're not completely satisfied with that, perhaps go through the presets. You can go ahead and customize this as well. That would take a lot longer. But let me go ahead and just show you some options here. Okay. So one of the things I love about Kontakt is you get a bunch of presets right here, right? Factory presets and then presets that you can create. But I'm just going to look through the factory presets. You can go ahead and select them here, or you can just search through this menu. Okay. So that's too like synthetic. I need something that's could be something like that as well. Now let's just figure out the notes. It's So let's find that. Alright, cool. So I'm just going to start with this. We can get detailed later if you want, okay? And then again, for those of you that are members at hfmusicacademy.com, you'll have this template and you can find the right sound. It is a good practice. It is good discipline. I just want to show you the principles and kind of go from there. So let me go ahead, get away from there. And this is probably going to fade in, I would imagine. Hold on, let me hear this. Oh wait, this starts from the beginning. Okay, so I know what I'll do. Hold on. Alright, I'm going to have two of these. So I currently have a track selected, and in Logic, if you want to create another track, you just double click the track header just like that. And so then now, let's go back to Kontakt. And let's select pads again. I gotta open up the browser. Here we go. PAD. Let's go. So I'm gonna use the default one for the intro. Here we go. Pads. See how I'm delineating everything? Clear. Awesome. Let me tell you guys, specifically I'm speaking to one person here, but when you start to take yourself seriously, all right, and when you start to really commit yourself to the craft, and you put aside all the distractions and all the noise and, you know, all the haters, and what ends up happening is like you really start to kind of move into it, and as you step forward in your career, it will take a step towards you. I remember one of the first checks I got for a commercial I did, I didn't even know I was going to get it. So it's like a check came in the mail. It was like an old school thing, you know, you just gotta it wasn't like a direct deposit or anything. And so I got the mail and I was like, oh geez, like this is happening, right? I felt momentum and power because I saw that all my efforts, all my actions, everything that I had sacrificed, like it was paying off. And in the beginning it was smaller sacrifices, right? I was, you know, just buying an interface for $100, right? Just little sacrifices. Instead of going out tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and study Logic, right? And then all of a sudden, after a while, it just starts to happen for you. It's like it's automatic, right? It just starts to build on top of itself, and next thing you know, you have this business that you didn't even know that you were creating. So if you're interested in that, I would love to help you. Man, I'm so stoked about everything that's going on. Just upgraded my studio to just some great gear. Super grateful. So yeah, guys, keep pushing, keep fighting. You're gonna find your path. And here is the pads. All right, what range are we? Is it low? Is it mid? Is it high? Here, let's listen. It's definitely. It could be also considered atonal. Like, there's no specific tone per se. I'm gonna say it's somewhere up there. Now, I don't know if we need that high end. You hear how it's like, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I could chop that off a little bit. Okay, here, let's go in here a little bit. Alright, so no high end. In order to treat high end, we would have to deal with frequencies, and so that is the tool of an EQ. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on, and then we're talking about high end, so I'm going to remove high end gain. Now, where that frequency sits, I'm not sure exactly, but I'm going to go ahead and play with it. Alright, so I'm just going to go for it. It sounds good enough for right now. The pad comes in from the beginning. Let me hear. Oh, my bad. Here we go. Alright, so yeah, this sounds more like an ambient. And when I'm listening to it, I hear that it's on the left speaker, or on the left channel. So I'm going to start there, okay? Here we go. And I'm curious if I use, hold on, the modulation wheel. Hold on. No, it doesn't really affect it. All right, here we go. Okay, so we can see here that we could have sustained this whole thing all the way out. I didn't want to wait the whole time, so I'm gonna go ahead, grab these MIDI notes, and here I wonder if I can hit this key command. Trim to the end. See if it does it. It doesn't do it. Okay, here we'll bring it out, and again, snap to grid. Everything was quick, so that's all the way up to the very end. You have your option on how to pan this. If you don't know much about panning, here's my recommendation to you. There's a really good pan knob by Boz Digital Labs. That's BOZ Digital Labs, and it is incredible what it does. So here is my panning effect before. Here, check this out. All right, and then here's after. Check this out. So it gives you more control of like where it's positioned. So if we're talking about like a space that we're creating, right? So you've got the center, which would be kind of right here, the top, the bottom, then you have the left and the right. Well, in between all of those points, you've got various places you can travel to. So it's not just straight and then all the way left. It's like, well, what about the mid left? And what about if I blend with the center? What if I want it wide across the top? Maybe wide across the sides. So there's a lot of possibilities here. And if you don't know anything about mixing and mastering, I highly recommend you take the time to learn it. It will pay off in dividends. You will save yourself time, frustration, super important, okay? In the world of music production, you've got the DAW, you've got mixing and mastering. Of course, there's the business aspect of it all, and then there's the peak performance, kind of psychological, physiological aspects of it. Like, how are you going to keep yourself healthy? How are you going to be able to maintain your vitality, your energy, your excitement through the course of 365 days? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I mean, you don't just want to hit once, right? I mean, that doesn't make sense. Or you get paid one time and then that's it. And maybe that song will get you paid for a long time, but then after that, certainly you're going to want to do something else, right? So yeah, work on achieving, but also having fun and finding that balance between the two. So there's the first pad, and then at some point, I believe it's right there. Let's check this out. We have another pad. Perhaps it comes in the other channel. Let's check it out. Yeah, right here. All right, so if we were talking positioning here, let me bring you guys in here. So let's pretend that the first pad is like right here. Well, the second pad kind of, it's like an umbrella, like this way. So the stereo imaging is from left to right. It's not just center and left, right? And it's not tipped over all the way to the bottom left. You're finding where to place these things. Like, so when you have a track and you have a synthesizer or a percussion, you're dictating where it's going to sit in the apparent placement of the stereo image. That's what you're trying to do, right? How can I position this sound so I can maximize on the song, so I could get an optimum performance, so everything just sounds big, polished, and professional. All right, let's bring you guys in. We do have a higher pad. All right, I'm just gonna go with that single note here. Is there a faster way to create this? I suppose we could try this here. Let's try this out, just for fun. And we're gonna create a MIDI region. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and click, double click, and then I'm gonna hit T to open up the tool menu. The key command for the brush tool is B. So now I'm accessing the brush tool. Now I'm gonna select a whole note. Which note was that? All right, so that's A. So let's just look for an A somewhere in here. Let me see. It's right here. Cool. Let's go here. All right, fantastic. And then we're just gonna stretch it out to the end. So obviously this style of music lends itself well to what? It lends itself well to building tension and having parts intertwine and move back and forth. So let's listen to this bear in mind track number 6 is the kind of thing that we have to fade in. So you could do this several different ways. I'm just going to do it manually with some automation, okay? And then I'm not sure if this one does fade in. Track number 7, let's check this out. Yeah, it does fade in, but it's not as slow. So it kind of picks up pretty quickly. So I'm going to double click, bring this down. All right, we should have a nice blend right there. If you want to play with the curve, you can again go back to the automation menu and select the curve tool, or you can just hit the key command as well. All right, so let's check this out. We're here listening. Okay, it's good. We're not able to listen to some of our material. That's because there's an important component missing right now. If you guys know MIDI chase, that's a really good function. If you ever want to listen to MIDI like on the spot, like right there, you see how we're not listening to it? And that's because the nature of MIDI is that it has to have a starting point, and once the playback surpasses that starting point, then we get the sound, okay? All right, so that being said, I'm going to go into the the MIDI chase settings. That's inside of your project settings, option P right there. Cool. And then we'll go into MIDI right there. Then we'll go into chase, and then once you enable that, I wish this was on by default, but this is a project setting, so it's specific to this one project right here. All right, so that being said, now when I play this back, we should be able to hear it. Check it out. All right, so remember we were talking shapes. Okay, so this one, the way I'm going to position it is, hey, I want it, oh, hold on. I want it to kind of take the top portion. That's not really the real what's actually happening, but just the idea that it's covering, you know, the top. And so in order to do that, we're going to utilize a stereo file, and then we're going to go ahead and attack it this way. So again, I'm utilizing stereo pan, and then I'm going to change the imaging, the positioning. It's up to you how you can have this to the left or to the right, but based on you know, our work together, our analysis here, I'm just listening to like where is it positioned. So this feels pretty good to me. This number 6, there's no panning on the channel strip, but again, I'm utilizing this pan knob, and so I'm able to dictate where exactly it's positioned. All right, so this sounds good. Let's listen to this pad that's a little bit higher. So this is we can just say higher, and then, you know, you could even just say mid or something like that. Here we go. Okay, so you can kind of hear how it's coming together. Another thing that I personally would recommend is that you get these elements to move a little bit. Maybe not this one, but this one. And so one of my go-tos that I do a lot, maybe like every other session perhaps, is I use a tremolo plugin. My friend John corrected me. Respect to you, John, for correcting me on that one. Tremolo. Because I always used to say tremolo. Yeah, tremolo. That's what I used to say. So it's tremolo plugin. There you go. All right. So what's cool about this is I have it set up so that I can access an auto pan left to right, similar to Ableton. I love their auto pan. It's really dope. But we're going into tremolo, so that basically the volume goes in and out. And you could do both. They both sound absolutely outstanding, absolutely ecstatic. It's up to you how you want to do it. But I'm going to go ahead and select... yeah, you know what? Let's do auto pan. Very cool. And so what we don't want is for this to go left, right, and be super jagged. At least not for this song. See how it... right? What we want instead is to have it blend. Alright, so I'm going to back off the depth knob. I'm going to increase the smooth knob so it's a bit more subtle in nature. Check it out. Now I can have this over the course of every single quarter note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The musical time is dependent on how fast the song is. But like, what if I wanted it to be slower? So it's like 1, 2, forget about the mathematics and all that. Just get into the feel of like, what is your being feeling and what do you want to hear, you know? So that's... Alright, let's listen to... Oh man, that is so awesome. If you haven't had a chance to really hear that plugin, please pull up a pad, pull up some strings, create a cycle region, and then just let it rip because it sounds absolutely amazing. Alright, so let's take a listen to where we are just now. We're going to add some percussion, we're going to add some synths, and then we're done. Okay, cool. Let's get into the percussion because that's pretty much all we have left. Then we got the synth and that's it. So let's listen to what it happens here. So we got the first part. Let's listen to this part. Okay, so just think of like a hi-hat part, okay? So let me go ahead and go back into damage. See if we can find something cool here. Well, you know what? I really filtered this one out a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and create another one, okay? So I'm going to hold Command and hit the new track with duplicate settings and content button right there. I'm going to go ahead and just start playing here and seeing what else can I find. Let's check it out. Do I have hi-hats here maybe? Okay, let me listen to that. So that could be a good option. I kind of like that. That's in C sharp or D flat. I'm just looking at the piano roll right here. All right, let's listen here. That's too aggressive. Here, you know what? Let me reset my settings because yeah, let me turn off these filters. Cool. All right, let's listen again. All right, I'm gonna run with this one. So this is actually, what note is this? Okay, that's B. So let's raise this up. B. Okay. All right, let's listen to this. Here we go. So what happens is when I pan using the standard traditional panning, right? Listening just to one side. But when I utilize stereo pan, now I can hear a bit more. So this might be better suited for this kind of song. Yeah, I see that fits really nicely together. We've got the higher pad coming in. Let's see if there's any more percussion that we need to take into account. That sounds good. I think there was like a snare or something here. Yeah, there's actually like some sticks right there. So let's get those sticks. Let me see if I can use that, but no distortion. See if I got that. You see, I'm gonna try and. I think it's baked in. I think the effect is inside this part, but this could have worked quite well. Here's another thing too. Damage 1 and damage 2 are very different from each other in terms of the sounds and stuff. So let me go to, I guess I would go to rhythmic suites. Let's go to loop menu. Let me see if I could find something here. Because to me, yeah, I see that. It's a very different. This is one of the reasons I kept both damage 1 and 2 in my library, was simply because they sound different. Just because you have damage 1 doesn't mean that it's the same sound set as damage 2. And I have a deep love for damage 1. Obviously damage 2 is just a whole nother, they took it to a whole different level, but these sounds, I mean, we've heard them in records. I actually was listening to, I think, The Weeknd once, and he had damage on there. It was pretty nuts. Of course, it's probably, you know, one of his producers or something, but I'm looking for a hi-hat sound. Let's see if we can find something. All right, here we go. So this is what I was looking for, is just that quintessential damage sound. So I'm gonna go ahead and wait, am I, let me, hold on, did I replace it? I don't remember, hold on. Okay, I see what's going on. Let me raise this up. Alright, cool. Hold on. So we're just wrapping this up here. Just getting the last pieces. So let's see, I've got damage 2 up here. Cool. I'm going to bring this one down here because it looks like I overwrote this one. Hold on, let me just make sure. Yeah, I did. All right, so here I've got the snare parts. Up here I'm utilizing damage for the hi-hat parts, and then finally up here, I think this is just like ambiance and yeah. All right, very cool. So let's find our hi-hats, and then we'll find our melody, and we'll call it. Here we go. All right, now this one here, I'm gonna see if I can make this one mono. So what am I talking about? And you could do that by going to the plugin, but let me just see by way of experimenting if I insert a gain plugin. Let's see what happens, okay? Okay, this is a stock plugin, and rather than this being in stereo, meaning 2 or the difference between left and right, now I can actually effectively hear 1. Now, you don't have to do this, okay, but it's probably not a bad idea to have some elements that are in mono. I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying it might sound good. Maybe not, but let's try it. So I think it sits a little bit better in stereo. So we'll let that be, but maybe like this one would sound better. Or maybe this one. In fact, let me just do that now. Let's insert that and let's see if it sounds better, kind of stabilizing the song a little bit. Yeah, so what ends up happening is that it becomes more defined, right? So you got to really listen to this stuff. If at any point you get confused and maybe you feel like, man, I'm hearing too much, I'm overwhelmed, all you got to do is start muting stuff, okay? Just start muting stuff and listen to 2 elements at once. Like, how do these 2 sources sound right now? And then once you approve that, okay, let me add 1 more element. Let's see what this sounds like. Let's add 2 more elements. Okay, let's fix that ending. We'll fix the synth. We'll call it a day. So I do think it's important to talk about these endings because sometimes the loops don't fit, right? So let's listen. Okay, cool. Actually, that worked out. This song had a basic ending as well. So, oh right, we need that riser as well. So we'll get that in. Here, let me just put this up just to remind me. Riser. And then a quick way to look for risers is by hitting in the loop browser. You want to click on beats, And so now all of a sudden you can seek out how long is it going to be? 1 second? Is it going to be 4 beats? So it's shorter or longer. We're looking for something really short. So let's hear this one. So I understand that's not the same sound, but the concept of, you know, finding something really quickly, this is how you would do it. That's not even close. No, 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 no. Let's go back. Let's go here. I'm just going to go with that for now. Alright, so close the loop browser, key command O, and let's listen to this. Okay, that was like out of context, so lower the volume. Never a bad idea to take out some high end from a riser. Alright, cool. And then if you don't want to make a bunch of noise, you can do that as well. Alright, so we got the riser, and then finally, let's get this melody. So the melody sounds like this. Da-na. And then alright, so then now just analyze that melody. Right, this would be the same thing if you were listening to your favorite artist, whatever the case may be. You just start analyzing it piece by piece. But if you start off with something that's super hard, like I don't know, some crazy like prog rock or metal or you know, Beethoven or something, it's gonna be much more difficult. So if you start off with stuff that's a little bit more palatable, you can get there a little bit faster. So the synth, let's see, starts, was it here? Okay. Okay. So then what I've selected right here, and again, you could play with this, but this is a great software instrument, also by Heaviosity. Damages by Heaviosity. This one's called Eon, and they have a melodic version and then a rhythmic version. Okay, so the melodic version is the one that I'm playing with, and I like the sound, but it carries on too long. So right here, the decay, I'm going to minimize it, feedback rather. There we go. And then I want it to just trim out. So I'm gonna hit V to hide that. If you want to bring that up, you can again. And let's look for this this melody, okay? Ah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Da-da. Da-da-da-da. So to bring that back down. Okay, I forgot. Alright, I'm just here one more time. Okay, so it's actually pretty clever in how they switch things up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just select a simple sound first because it's hard to listen to the melody and then just try and like break down and decipher what it is. So I'm gonna go into default patch. I have a piano set up there, so that should help out. So yeah, if you're just drafting it out, it's probably a good idea. And then what I'll do is I'll bring it up so that they're right next to each other, and then you can really just pick this apart note by note. Okay, so we're right here. Okay. Hold on. Okay, hold up. Alright, so I'm going to get one note at a time. So here we go. Alright, hear that one, and then the other one's... Doesn't sound like that, but here, let me try it. Oh, there's a lot of notes there. Hold on. Hold on. Boom, shit. Okay, bring that over. So I'm just trying to get in here. What note is that? There we go. Okay, so why was that a funny jump? Hold on. Let me analyze this. So we go... Cool. So you go from a E to a B. So that's a big jump. Here, let me see. Yeah, it's pretty basic, just a fifth. Alright, cool. So let's listen to this. Alright, let's see what's next. I'll just copy these two over and then just start moving these notes around. You might want to mute them so you don't get distracted, or just turn off this green little button that's MIDI out. So let's move that over. Let's turn that back on. See what that's at? There we go. Okay, let's see if we got it thus far. It's not in the right spot, but let's go. Maybe something doesn't look right. What is it here? J. Alright, let's listen. What note was that? Alright, cool. Let me listen to this one. I'm pretty sure that's going to repeat. Let me go ahead and join these two together and just do a little bit of editing. Da, 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 da. Right, just mouthing it out, trying to figure out where it fits. Not sure if that was it. Minisa. Cool, you can tell that was it, just fits, right? Hold on, let me quiet it. See? Yep. See, now you can hear it going up, right? Alright, cool. So then we got that done. So then now you just put this against the original sound right there. So it's actually, come to think of it, not a bad idea just to have a piano track in the track in general. But here, let's listen to this. Okay, so I think you get kind of the point, and the goal is to learn music, and then I think that's the primary goal, but I think the secondary goal is just to become a better sound designer. So obviously it's going to take longer than 30 minutes an hour. Again, this is my way of contributing. As you guys know, I think about all the young musicians out there and all the people that really want to learn and maybe just don't have the means. I mean, I used to be there. You know, my whole life, all I wanted to do was learn music, and I would have done anything to learn something substantial, something that could have made me some money in the marketplace. And, you know, now things are great. Company's doing good. So much of what I've done has been awesome, and I'm just so thankful for all the people that I've met, the teachers that I've met, my mentor, Matt Thorne, all the members of hfmusicacademy.com, and I just want to make sure I just keep giving information, as this is like the sure way of it coming back to you. So don't hold it in. Don't like withhold your information. If there's information that you want to share that could be a contribution to other people, give somebody a compliment. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you guys very much for another episode. Again, these templates will be available to all members of hfmusicacademy.com. We thank you. We know who you are. We love you very much. And yeah, we wouldn't be the same without you. So thank you very much for watching. Look out for more content. I have a bunch of great videos coming out. And so I really thank you for this time. that we get to spend together. I'll see you on Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of In the Mix. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful week. Get to work. And remember to keep your frequency high. We'll see you guys later. Cheers.